Welcome, listeners, to a brand new episode of GNERD Corner's Cosplay Spotlight. Hi there, listeners. I am your host, JPOOL, and on tonight's show, I'm joined by my special guest. Give it up for Rachel, aka Stray Kat Cosplay.
Yay!
Hi there, Rachel.
Hello.
So, for the fans that don't know who you are, could you please tell them exactly who you are and what you do?
My name is Rachel, and I've been cosplaying for almost 2 years now, and it just makes my life so much more enjoyable. It's really my favorite thing to do.
That's fantastic. Now, why the name Stray Kat Cosplay?
It's actually a compilation of my name and my little sister's. She just passed away in a car accident in December. Her name was Katrina, so that's where the cat comes from. And then she always used to call me Ray Ray, so the Ray of Stray. So it's kind of just like a combination.
Okay. And what costumes are you really well known for?
I do a black cat, and that one's always one of my favorites. That was my first costume that I ever did. And I recently did a Lady Sif, the original one, back from when Thor was Journey into Mystery. And I also do Scarlet Witch and USO Girls from the Captain America movie.
That's fantastic. Now, why did you get into cosplay in the first place?
Well, I did theater when I was younger, all through middle school, high school, and I did it a little bit professionally. And it just started to get kind of depressing. I've always struggled with my weight, and it's always been something that has really been a touchy subject for me. And it was one of those things where you get told you're talented enough, but you're just not pretty enough, or you don't have what they're looking for. And after a while, it got to the point where I didn't want to do it anymore, and I got pretty depressed about it, because I still wanted to, bring the characters that I really admired to life. And when I started dating my boyfriend Zach, he got me into comics, and I started reading them more than I had in the past. And we went to Comic-Con for the first time in 2011 and dressed up, and it was just amazing. You can be whoever you want to be, and nobody can tell you that you're not good enough to be that person. You're your own quote-unquote director, and you say what goes.
Exactly. Now, that's fantastic. Now, what was your first cosplay you were at the first convention you went to?
It was a black cat.
Okay.
But since then, I have remade it about 3 or 4 times. My first one was a store-bought cat suit with an awkward butt zipper, and the whole time I was really weirded out that somebody was going to pull on my butt zipper, and it had fur hot glued onto it instead of sewn. But it was amazing just how many people, even then, when it wasn't so much for the craft, that even then people were still like, oh, you look awesome, I love that character. And it's so awesome to get that kind of reaction, even when your whole heart and soul didn't necessarily go into it, compared to now when it's I make everything from scratch. I even build my own patterns. So it's so amazing to have gotten that confidence boost, because without it, I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing now.
Awesome. Now, do you make most of your cosplays, or do you commission some stuff off?
I have not commissioned anything yet, besides my black cat mask. I had made one, and it just didn't look right. That's the only thing that I commissioned besides my wigs. I can't make a wig. But one day, maybe, I'll make my own wig.
Awesome. Now, you're in the Arizona Avengers, a non-profit organization. How did you get involved with them?
Gus, who's the CO of the Arizona Avengers, was one of the first people that we met. We went to Amazing Arizona Comic Con in 2011, and that was my first one. And him and Vincent and Ian were all just so nice and welcoming and just made the whole experience awesome and just told us about what they did. And from then, we really wanted to join, but I was in school at the time, and it took us up until last year to finally join up. But it's amazing what all they do.
Yes, it is. They do so much. What events have you been to with the Arizona Avengers that are most memorable?
My most memorable event was actually last year at Barnes & Noble out in Phoenix. They did a free, or like a comic book day sort of thing right after Free Comic Book Day. And so we had taken the comics that didn't get handed out. And there was this little girl there, and she was just the cutest thing. She told me that Black Cat was her favorite, and it's pretty amazing that any small child knows who Black Cat is, because she's not really, like, in the, like, Spider-Man TV shows, but she was just so cute, and she just said, like, how much she liked the character, and she followed me around pretty much the whole day, and it was just that moment, being able to see, like, that you're making someone else's day. Because, I mean, for me, dressing up in my costumes is like, that makes my day when I get to do that instead of wearing normal clothes. So being able to see that I made someone else happy while doing it is just the most amazing feeling.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. I mean, to dress up as someone's favorite character from either a comic book, a television show, a movie, or something like that, and go to these events or conventions and see, personally for me, seeing the little kids smile and wanting to take pictures and seeing them all giddy and everything, it really makes my day. It makes it the best experience, even more than just, getting celebrities' autographs.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Do you have any future cosplays that you're planning on doing?
I do. I actually have 3 that are in the works right now, and then 2 commissions that I'm doing. We have a large Sailor Moon group that we've been doing since last year at Amazing Comic Con. And since then, we've had a member have to leave. So all of the planets are readjusting at the moment, and I am going from Sailor Mars to Sailor Moon. So right now I'm working on that one. And then for my new Marvel costume, I'm working on Firestar.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and then I have one more secret Disney one.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I was actually trying to set up a photo shoot with the rest of the Sailor Moon girls. Unfortunately, there are a lot of complications involved. A few members weren't able to make it, which kind of killed the whole photo get-together. But yeah, I was planning on putting it together at ASU West, which would have been a perfect place to have Sailor Moon scouts there. It's a school, and I had other rooms open as well for the photo shoot. But I'm hoping to do that again pretty soon.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that would be awesome because it gets some other photographers in there and get some really good shots.
And from what I'm hearing amongst the Mooney girls, we actually have some more villains joining us up too. So, and we have a tuxedo mask now and a mini moon. So we're just growing and growing.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Now, you said one of your favorite events with the AZA was the Barnes & Noble event. What is your favorite moment at a convention?
It is both a good and kind of sad convention moment. It was at Amazing Arizona Comic Con this last year. There were these 2 little girls dressed up as a mini Sailor Mars and a mini Sailor Moon, and I was there as Sailor Mars, and I thought it was just the cutest thing that I saw a mini Sailor Mars. And so I let her hold my wand to take a picture, and I made little Sailor Moon cry.
Oh.
But it made for a cute picture.
It did. I think I took some pictures of that.
But yeah, that's another thing that I love is seeing little kids in costume. It's just so adorable. Especially when, like, you could see that, like, their parents are the ones, you know, because, like, up until, you know, Sailor Moon Crystal just came out, I'm pretty sure those kids did not even know who Sailor Moon was. But their mom was just beaming. She was like, yes, look at my kids. They are Sailor Scouts. It was awesome.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, you do make a fantastic Sailor Mars, and I can't wait to see you as Sailor Moon.
Oh, thank you.
Sailor Mars is actually one of my favorites out of all of them.
She is pretty freaking awesome.
Also, I like the color red. But then again, I'm a cosplayer. Deadpool cosplayer.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move away from cosplay just a bit and talk a little bit about you. Okay. Do you happen to have any favorite movies that you like?
Beauty and the Beast is my favorite movie. It always has been ever since I was little.
Nice. Nice. Now, at Phoenix this year, I believe it was Heather who did steampunk. Was it Heather who did the steampunk bell?
Did. We did a pretty large group of, like, well, it was kind of a little bit of a mess because when we, after doing Sailor Moon, all of us kind of, like, fell in love with each other because a lot of times working with other girls can turn into a giant cat fight, but all the girls in the Sailor Moon group, it's just like the perfect combination of women I've ever met in my entire life. They're all just the most wonderful people, and so we were like, we want to do something else together. So the way that it was up on Facebook was that we wanted to do a Twisted Disney. So I Googled Twisted Disney, and I found the picture of, like, I think it's DeviantArt, I can't remember what his name is, the artist, but he does, like, horror-esque Disney princesses, and I was like, dang, that is awesome. That is what I'm going to do. I thought that's what all of us were doing until it got too late, and I had already burnt my Esmeralda costume, and everybody thought I was zombie Esmeralda with a bunch of pretty steampunk girls, and I'm like, no, I thought this was what we were all doing. But, yeah. I guess I'm too literal.
Yeah. There was a part in that movie where there was a fire.
Exactly, and everybody kept asking, like, oh, Esmeralda, what happened to you? I'm like, the steak. Did everyone just, like, skip over that, or, like, what's it called, like, repressing the memory? Yeah.
No,
That's a moment in Disney history.
Exactly. It teaches you no matter what you look like, you always get your Prince Charming, and the other guy will just be a best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Stuck in the friend zone.
The ultimate friend zone, yes.
Yes. I felt so bad for Quasimodo. I'm like, what type of message is that sending to kids?
Exactly. He saves her life. He could have just left her there to toast, and then she's like, no, just kidding. Pretty blonde guy's where it's at.
Exactly. It was sort of like if Anna pretty much said, "Oh, I'm gonna stay with Hans. I don't like dealing with scruffy scruffy guys."
Yeah. Well, he was a ginger, so we all knew he was a soulless ginger from the start.
Uh-oh. I have lots of friends who are gingers.
Me too, but they are pretty spunky people.
They are. I have a friend named Tyler, and he does Hans. And yeah, he does a pretty good Hans, and he's a...
Yeah, I think I saw him at Geek Prom.
You can't trust him.
Okay.
You can trust his photography, but maybe not him because he's Hans, and he might betray you.
There you go.
All right. So, do you have any other favorite films that you enjoy watching, or anyone that you just
I'm kind of like a 90-year-old person in a 21-year-old body. I just went and saw Jersey Boys recently.
Ah, Jersey
I
Boys.
had to like step over people's oxygen tanks and like dialysis machines and colonoscopy bags to get to my seat because I was probably the youngest person in there by like 50 years. But it was an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Exactly. Well, it's based on a Broadway play.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the actors in the movie is from the Broadway play.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I haven't seen it myself, but I know about the play and I know about the film. So.
Definitely a good one.
Exactly. Now, what type of music do you listen to?
I listen to all kinds of music. I'm not sure if it was with being in theater, but I'm kind of open to listening to anything. One of my favorite artists though has always been Elvis. I don't know what it is about him, but I absolutely love him.
So. You sound like an old soul.
I am. I told you, I'm like 90 years old. Everyone else my age is like, hey, you want to go out? And I'm like, no, I need to sit on my couch and pet my cat and maybe sew something. So I'll catch you later.
They walk in, you're in a rocking chair sewing and knitting. You're like,
cat? There you go.
Why are you wearing an old lady wig? All right, and also, do you happen to have any favorite television shows that you're watching currently or, have in the past?
One of my favorite shows and one of the costumes that I have planned for the not so distant future is Venture Brothers. I absolutely love that show to death. And I plan on doing a Dr. Mrs. the Monarch costume. And hopefully, maybe one day I'll be able to do the voice.
Yes.
Because that would be bomb.
It starts something like this.
Yeah!
And you gotta really, you really gotta rein your voice. Just don't do smoking, because it will ruin it completely.
I'm thinking maybe I'll, see if I can, like, trade lungs with somebody for a day and see if that works.
Yeah, I actually do voices, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you see me around doing my Deadpool costume, I try to, do voices. It's a little harder to do it when you have a mask on, because you can't shift your lips correctly when you're wearing that mask.
Yeah, like, pick it away from your face so you can get a little bit more movement in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just remember when you're doing that costume to wear plenty of double-sided sticky tape, because I have friends who have done that before, and they're, I would say, gifted in some areas of their body, and they need tons of that tape for that costume.
One of my friends, Caitlin, who also does cosplay, she did a Molotov for Phoenix Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
She introduced me to this stuff, and I will swear by it for the rest of my life. It's called Jobs, Jobst. They're the people that make diabetic socks, and they have this this skin adhesive. It rolls on, kind of like roll-on deodorant, and it's glue for your skin, and it works amazing. It is the best thing I have ever. It is literally a miracle. So anyone that's doing any open front costume, that is the stuff. Buy it.
Awesome. Yeah, that does sound like interesting. So it works. It sticks pretty well to any material.
Well, I did a female, like a gender bent, pitch from Rise of the Guardians, and with that one, it was like a lycra sort of fabric, but it had like a leather-like overcoat, and so it looked pretty cool. But the that was the only material that I found that won't stick to, because it goes through the like fibers and it gets onto that plastic sort of coating, and it won't dry. So if you're going to do something like that, it would have to be like lined with like some bias tape or something to get it to hold down. So that one was like, I had painted myself all gray and went to go get into the costume and went to go tape it down, and I was like, oh rats, this is not holding at all. And I was sharing a room with Heather and Sarah, Ceremony Cosplay, and we were sitting there for probably like 2 hours trying to get it like fashion taped and glued. Like each of them had a side of my chest, and I was standing in front of a fan trying to get it to dry. And eventually we were just like, this is never going to work. And so we cut out a piece of my train and sewed that into the front.
Oh. So, yeah, you did a good job. I didn't even know that was you.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
I took some pictures of you, and let's see, I think Heather was one of the gender-bending Jack Frost, and then there was another male Jack Frost that got into the picture.
Yeah, and an Elsa, too.
Yeah, and Elsa, which was perfect. And I was like, that's a photo opportunity. And I got some pictures, and I know a bunch of other photographers started to swarm afterwards.
Yeah, it was crazy. I really didn't think people would get it, because I've never even seen a male pitch black. But I got out there, and with her next to me, people were like automatically like, oh, you're the boogeyman, but he has another name. And I'm like, yeah, but you're getting it. At least you get it. So, yeah, I was really happy that one turned out, because the whole morning of it, I was just so mad at myself. I was like, I should have tried it on. I'm so sorry. It was a tear fest.
Well, you really pulled it off beautifully.
Thank you.
And I know a lot of the people at Phoenix Comic Con, they loved it. I had a lot of people wondering who that was, dressed as Pitch, or because I believe I tagged you in some of those photos that I took.
Awesome, good.
And they really enjoyed them. And also, putting Jack Frost, and you have Elsa as well in the foreground and the background. So great combination. Are you planning on doing a Guardians like group? Or?
We are. We've been trying to find people that have already done the cosplays, but we're finding more just people that saw what we did and want to join in too. Sarah has talked about doing it with us. Tasha and Caitlin have talked about it. The only thing is we can't decide if we want to gender bend the Tooth Fairy to be a guy or just keep it an all-female cast. But once we get everyone's costumes done and mine redone with glue that actually works, we want to go take some pictures and get some good group magic happening.
Awesome. Now, what is your favorite, like, gender bending or cosplays that you've seen at these conventions?
I didn't see it in person, but I've seen a lot of, like, gender bent Sailor Moon cosplays lately. Like, a bunch of guys either, like, in drag as the Sailor Scouts, or they do, like a pants and short sleeve white shirt, and it looks really cool. And then they have, like, a girl tuxedo mask, and that's cute, too. But those are really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you've been talking a lot about Sailor Moon. So you grew up with Sailor Moon, is that correct? Oh,
yes. Yes. I have always loved it. I remember watching it after school on Cartoon Network, and there was this girl that my grandma used to babysit, and so we were always kind of like thrust upon each other, and she was blonde, and I have dark hair. And I remember her telling me that I couldn't be Sailor Moon because I was brunette and she was blonde, so she gets to be Sailor Moon. Well, that did not fly with me. So I got some construction paper and I ended up gluing a tiara made of paper to my forehead with super glue, and they had to take me to the hospital to get it taken off.
Wow.
But I was Sailor Moon. That is commitment.
You're like, it's mine.
Yes.
You can't take it off.
Moon. It doesn't matter what color my hair is. I have a tiara scar on my forehead to prove it.
Wow. Did they literally have to like cut your part of your hair off, or did they just like?
From what I remember, when I got to the hospital, they were able to take it off, but my grandma had tried to pull it off first before she took me. So yeah, I have a little scar on like the temple on my left side. That's my Sailor Moon scar.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah.
And now everyone knows it.
Yep. That Rachel is Sailor Moon.
And now you're gonna be Sailor Moon.
Yeah! And I'll do it without the super glue this time.
Exactly. Are you going to, well, I was talking to you earlier about Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal. What do you like about, what do you like and not like about the new series Sailor Moon Crystal compared to the original series?
I like the artwork. It's a lot more like the manga, because I did read that too. And so I like the art style of it, and I like that they're moving a little bit quicker. Because with the Sailor Moon, the original series, it was like it was awesome for a few episodes, and there'd be like filler episode, filler episode, filler episode, filler episode, and you're just like, ugh, can we move on with the story? But the only thing that I don't like about it is I like the old transformation better. I don't know what it is about. I like the new one in bits and pieces, but the thing that really freaks me out is when she goes with the gloves. It makes her arms look like they're like 10 feet long pool noodles, just kind of like waving in the air. And it just looks weird to me.
It looks like she doesn't have any bones in the arms.
Yeah, like one of those little balloon people, that they fill with air and it just kind of like waves in the wind. That's what it reminds me of. A Sailor Moon balloon dancing guy on the side of the street.
Well, sometimes in anime, especially when an anime character is kind of like shocked, or in other words, sometimes characters find themselves, they realize, oh, wait a minute, you don't love me? Their arms do go all wavy, and their jaw practically hits the ground, and
yeah.
They do sort of look like noodle people at the time.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's what they're going for.
All right.
We'll always think of it as noodle person moon on the side of the road.
Exactly. Now, are you planning on changing up your pitch for next convention, or?
Yeah, I'm going to be redoing it. I want the train to be a little bit more, have a little bit more fabric to it. It was still a little too sheer for what I wanted. And I'm going to try and get some wiring up through it. I don't want it to look too much like Elvira or Morticia, but I do kind of want the edges to kind of come up. Like, he's always in that cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and incorporate a little bit more work with the train and then, like, reinforce the front so I can get rid of that panel that was there.
Exactly. Now, are you planning on making something to make it look like you are floating on a cloud of smoke? Like, put something like fluffy material and sort of expand the lower part of the dress to sort of look like rising smoke, but it's actually big and puffy?
Yeah, I'm going to try and, I'm thinking about using, like, floral wire to kind of get it to lift up a little bit. But the way that it is right now, it looks awesome being able to, like, pick up the tool, but it's not a very convention-friendly costume. I can't tell you how many times I got, like, jerked back being stepped on. So I don't think it's something that I'll wear again to a convention, but I definitely want to take more pictures in it before it gets retired.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I kind of feel for the Elsa cosplayers because they have extremely long trains.
Yeah, I always see them with like their, like either the Anna or whoever's handling them has like 5 pounds of fabric just like draped all over them and like trying to like waddle behind her and keep up and not like rip her back off. But yeah, I feel oh, that must be so awful. I can't imagine. Especially because that fabric is so thin, if anybody were to step on it, their shoe would probably go right through it, and I would cry. Even if it wasn't me. I would cry for them.
Yeah, they would work so hard on that dress.
I remember watching it in theaters, and I thought for a second, I was like, I would so want to do an Elsa, but then I was like, I would so be working on this until I was like 50 because there's so much detail. Oh, I give all those girls major, major props.
Oh yeah, I've seen some incredible Elsas, like Destiny Nicholson. She does an incredible Elsa and really pulls it off really well. All right, so we're going to move into another part of the podcast where we are going to ask you what conventions we're going to be able to see you, or even events we're going to see you later on this year.
Yes. Actually, this Friday I will be at a toy drive in Tempe with the Arizona Avengers. And then coming up soon, I will be at Saboten. I'm going to be with the Merpunks. It's a new comic book that's starting out, and they've asked a few of us to cosplay as their characters. It's such an adorable little series, and the art is amazing. So if you see the booth or if you're going to Sabo, definitely check us out. And then I'm going to try and make it to Salt Lake City, and we were invited as the Arizona Avengers to Ventura, California, to their convention out there. So those are the ones within the next few months we'll be at.
Nice. Now, have you heard of this new convention? I believe it's in October, called Comic and Media Expo.
I believe I have seen something about it, but I haven't heard from anybody exactly what it is.
It's a smaller convention because it's its first year. It has, it's more comic book friendly. It does have some, a few media guests, but it's more comic book artist and writer friendly. Since it's its first year at Comic and Media Expo, they're really looking for feedback from the people that are coming, to the vendors, to the cosplayers. They want to make this, a really fan-driven experience. They really want, because they want to, expand on that next year when they come back. And it's actually going to be at the Mesa Convention Center this year.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, that's so close to me. That makes my heart smile. I will definitely be there.
Like, I don't have to drive very far.
Yeah, like going out to Glendale. I mean, I make that trek a lot because I'm an Army brat, so I always go out to Luke Air Force Base whenever I need to buy anything big, because on military bases you get tax-free. So I do travel out to Glendale occasionally, but I'm like, fighting with myself. Like, do I want to buy a hotel? Do I want to drive? Or maybe I'll just be a homeless person and sleep in my car.
Exactly. And at the Mesa Convention Center, you have free parking, and also because it's so close, apparently, to you, you don't have to go very far. But yeah, that's the Mesa Convention Center for me is sort of, it's not, I don't live there, but it's sort of like home turf for, conventions that started out there, like Phoenix Comic-Con and Amazing Comic-Con.
Yeah, it was there. My first Comic-Con was at the Mesa Convention Center. And then the next year it moved up, and I was like, oh, I was expecting, like the same type of thing. Not that it's bad that it's grown so much. That's awesome. But it was it's a whole different experience, you know, going to the Phoenix Convention Center versus the Mesa.
Exactly. And I can't wait for this new convention. I think it will do really well, especially, you know, I'm glad that they're going, you know, from comic book store to comic book store, having meetings with the public and the people that are coming, because they want to know how to make this convention better for the fans, because, you know, they don't want to just, you know, think that they know what they're doing. They want to make sure that they can make this experience better for the people that are coming, the people that are vending there, and even for the cosplayers, so that next year it'll even be better.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's awesome that there are so many different conventions, even just within, like, the surrounding area. Because, I mean, Phoenix Comic Con, I love it, but it's so big, and it's like I hear people talking about like playing the DC game, the Injustice game, and about how there's this little girl in there that like took down the champion or whatever, but it's like I didn't even know that was there because it was like down the hallway in another area, and it was like, oh, rats. I should have tried harder to like go and see more things, but it's like 4 days is not enough for everything that's there. So it's nice to know that if you didn't get everything done that you wanted to do, that there's then there's this con, and there's Sabo, and there's Amazing, and they'll all be there to catch up on what you didn't make. So
yeah, exactly. And if you think this year was big, then next year they're expecting probably in the area of over 100,000 people being there, including opening up the West building.
Wow.
So yeah, opening up the West buildings over the West, the North, and the South building for the convention, and it's gonna be pretty big.
Yeah. I'm hoping one day that they will be able to like build something that connects those, because going outside in costume just makes me want to cry.
In the day or at night?
Yeah, in like the middle of the day at like 1 o'clock when it's like 300,000 degrees. Yeah.
Like just make a bridge, like a tunnel where we can just
Rainbow Bridge it, yo.
Exactly, yeah, and I feel bad for the people with either multiple, you know, layers of material, or like huge, you know, I've seen people wear like knight's armor, pretty much surrounding their body. I'm like,
Yeah,
you
or
know,
like
that's gonna be extremely hot when you go outside, right?
the furry people. I saw lots of furries at this convention, at this last Phoenix, and I was like, good gosh, like, they must lose like 50 pounds of sweat in those costumes. How did they survive?
And this is why I will never, I'm sorry to say because I have friends out there, this is why I will never share a hotel room with any of my friends who are furries.
Amen.
Because I do not want to smell that. It's worse than people taking off their shoes after a long day at work in the sun.
Yeah. I can only imagine. That is probably like, on a scale from like 1 to 10, that stink is probably like a 20.
Yeah, you need a gallon of Febreze to keep the stench from rising.
Like gas mask it. Just
all right.
Keep in its own closet.
Exactly. Now, as we come to the end of our interview, do you happen to have a fan page or a website that people can visit you at, or do you happen to have any prints that people can buy off of you?
I do. I have a Facebook page. You can find me. It's www.facebook.com/Stray Kat Cosplay, all one word. And then I also have a Storenvy. So it's the same, StrayKatCosplay.Storenvy.com.
And do you have what type of prints do you have on there right now?
Right now, I have some of my Esmeralda the pre-burn Esmeralda, so it's the actual like movie version. I have my Lady Sif out there, Black Cat, and Scarlet Witch, and Rogue.
Nice. Yes, I'll need to purchase some of your photos again. I got mine stolen at Phoenix. So.
I heard that. That is so sad.
Yeah.
You know, I've never heard of people getting their stuff stolen at conventions until this year Phoenix. There was this one, a friend of mine who's in the Arizona Avengers, someone broke into her car and stole her costumes.
Mm-hmm. Some of that stuff, too, was because I was sharing a hotel with her, too. Yeah, that was...
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Bam.
Say
Dirty Steve.
Say goodbye to my guitar.
Oh, wow. That's so sad.
It was my guitar. It's like losing a child for me. But yeah, I enjoyed Phoenix, even with all that stuff that happened in the end. I really enjoyed,
Your child.
losing my guitar, losing my prints of Sarah and you, which I was like, oh, well, those are not going on my cosplay wall.
Well, they will be replaced. No worries.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Rachel, for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And please go to her Facebook and give Rachel a like as Stray Kat Cosplay on Facebook. And please purchase all of the prints so she can make even more costumes and travel to more events so you can see her.
Yeah.
Yes. And when you become super popular, don't forget us small people.
Oh, I will not. Never.
But if you do want her to come to your events or, be a quote-unquote booth babe at your at the convention, please request her.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, thank you, listeners, for listening to our new episode of GNERD Corner's Cosplay Spotlight with Stray Kat Cosplay. Please visit us at facebook.com/JPOOL's GNERD Corner, or please subscribe to this YouTube page, our YouTube channel, GNERD Corner, and thank you.